guys, welcome back here to Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys hanging with me a little bit and checking out today's episode. Guys, as we do a lot here on Intuitive Angling, we're going to go someplace that we probably shouldn't go as far as ruffling feathers. I've known this for a little bit now, but something really happened at that tournament I fished last weekend at Lake Pomme de Terre that really reaffirmed the reality of some stuff that's going on in fishing right now. I want to talk about that, and it's probably a lot of people are not going to like it, but it's true in my opinion. So we'll get into that in today's episode, and looking forward to hearing your comments back as well. Also, guys, two quick things I want to remind you all of before we get started. Silverback has got their spring fishing sale going on my signature series RB2s and 3s. 30% off until the end of April right now, including free shipping and handling if you use my promo code RandyB. We got 3 different frame colors now. We got the new black here, or the tan we've got, and we got the matte gray. So I'll put the Silverback link description in the video here if you guys would like to order a pair. And then also real quick, we do have my Blaukat Throwback jig up on the Cumberland Pro Lures website and at Tackle Warehouse. 7 different colors, 3 different sizes. I'll put my Blaukat Throwback jig link in the description of this video through my Tackle Warehouse link. Not only my throwback jig, but I got my power finesse jig in there too. So all that stuff's in the video description here, and appreciate that. Okay, one of the things that I have talked about quite a bit over the past 3 or 4 years is the fact that one of the realities of professional fishing is that there are no true professionals anymore that separates talent. In other words, I'm going to make this statement here, and I'm going to back it up here. There is little to no daylight between what people consider the best pros in the world, being the Bassmaster Elite Series pros and the Bass Pro Tour pros, and also the NPFL. Those are the 3 top circuits. My claim here is if you take 90, 95, 97, 98% of that group, those 3 top level tours, the overall skill level is no different than if you're fishing some local circuit. And I'm going to explain to you why that is. I have been fishing regionally here a lot the last 3 or 4 years here in Missouri. Circuits like the Ozark Division BFL, the Solo Series Top 100, the SQ qualifier that I just fished last week, some of the Toyota Series, and some other regional type tournaments. And guys, the weights, when you look at the weights, let's say, for example, that tournament I fished last weekend at Pomme de Terre, it was a Solo Pro Series SQ qualifier. And there was 100 anglers in this tournament. Guys, I don't know any of them. I'm not saying that to diminish their skills as an angler, but I don't know the anglers that were in this tournament. These were guys if they walked up to me in Walmart, I wouldn't know who they were. Again, that's just because I haven't been in those circles. But the weights that those anglers have been catching in these regional type events, not just in my region, but anywhere, are no different than if you would have had the Bassmaster Elite Series there. In other words, if the Bassmaster Elite Series tournament would have come to Lake of the Ozarks, Table Rock, Pomme de Terre, whatever, where we're fishing here, the weights that they would have caught would have been no different than the weights caught by the local anglers or the regional anglers, that type of a thing. This is what I'm talking about that is sort of a problem in our sport, is the fact that everybody's good. Everybody's a pro. There's nothing that separates these guys to make people want to watch them. Now, there are some exceptions to the rule. You can take some guys like Jacob Wheeler, and there's a handful of guys on the 1 or 2 dudes on the Elite Series, 1 or 2 dudes on the Bass Pro Tour that are in that upper echelon of the 1% that would excel anywhere. But if you had just a chart and you took Bassmaster Elite Series, Bass Pro Tour, NPFL, BFL, where I'm fishing, Toyota Series, local regional circuits, whatever, there ain't any difference, guys. There's no difference in the skill level. These guys that I fished against at Pomme de Terre Lake last week that you have never heard of in a million years, if you put them on the Bassmaster Elite Series or you put them on the Bass Pro Tour, they're going to be catching the same type of fish and the same type of weights as the guys that are there. Now, the problem with this is, and the problem with fishing, and one of the reasons that the tournament community is struggling so much to gain, sponsorships and credibility as a true professional sport is that when you have the participants in a sport that is supposed to be some type of a spectator sport that are just as good as the pros, what's the use of going to watch them? We go to professional sports. I mean, we go to the Kansas City Chiefs football game to see freaking Patrick Mahomes throw a 70-yard pass, or something like that, or see some dude running down the field 100 miles an hour, or you watch the Masters golf to see somebody shoot 5 under par on a course that the average golfer would be 30 over par. You gravitate to these sports to see excellence. And with professional fishing, there's no daylight between that excellence, between what people consider the amateur level and the professional level. I know this, guys, and one of the reasons I know this is because I have fished at every level. I have fished all of the I've fished the Bassmaster Elite 50 circuit, the Bassmaster Top 100, the Top 150, been to 9 classics, FLW Tour, FLW Cup, all the specialty stuff. And I fished the grassroots level stuff as well. And I can tell you from somebody that has competed on every level of this sport and continues to do so, there is no daylight in talent anymore. And this is something that is a product of our modern era of communication. It's the YouTube videos like I do that educate people. It's the access to information through the internet. It's improvement in technology and equipment and accessibility. It's just sort of the nature of the sport. And it's a reality, and I don't really know what you do about it. There are some things that you can do about it to separate those skill levels, but right now it doesn't exist. Now, the only thing that, in my opinion, that will truly separate the success level is to have massive equipment limitations. Because right now that we don't, when you have this access to technology and equipment to everybody out there, it doesn't really set a bar exception to the rule. Now, let me give you an example of what we're talking about. We all, a lot of you guys that don't follow bowling, let me explain to you what the difference between a professional bowler and a league bowler or a weekend bowler. And this is going to be a good analogy. If you bowl on a league, for example, let me sort of show you how it works here. Okay, let's say that this is the head pin right here, or here's the pins on a lane. Here's the head pin. The way that they lay the oil patterns down on a league, if you throw the ball too far out here, it's dry. They lay it dry so the ball will hook back in and you'll hit the head pin, and then they make it slicker down the middle in case you miss your mark to the left. Your ball will slide and still hit the head pin. That's a league condition. Now, on a pro condition, they have different lengths of oil patterns here that basically makes it... Hey, sorry about the little glitch in the video there, but what I was saying is on a pro pattern, it's different because if you throw it out to the right, it's not going to hook back. It'll stay to the right. You'll miss the head pin. If you throw it down the middle, it's going to curve out and miss the head pin there. So therefore, the way that they set up a pro lane condition, it's much more challenging. You have to be precise when you hit your mark, and you don't have to be precise in a league condition. So therefore, some guy that bowls in a league, and so, let's say he averages 210, and he thinks he's this hot shot that he could go pro, he would be embarrassed on a pro set of lanes. I've bowled on him. I know what it's like. His average would be probably 30, 40 pins less. This is what professional fishing needs. Professional fishing on the top level, excuse me, if you want to separate this and you don't want to have everybody the same, you take away the equipment advantages that makes it easy for them. You take away all their electronic technology except for like a 2-dimensional sonar. You limit them to maybe 4 or 5 rod and reels outfits. Excuse me, you limit them to a limited amount of tackle. You put some type of restrictions on pro level tournaments to make it hard. You make it difficult for these anglers because they are supposed to be the best in the entire world, and they should be able to showcase it through their natural talents. But right now we have so many different equipment advantages and technological advances that are available to everybody, including the pros. We don't have that separation here. That's it to an extent, but ultimately that's just sort of part of the inherent qualities of bass fishing. It's like it's a sport, and it is an art form, and it does have a professional element to it, but it's not like some type of other athletic, sport. And the problem that I have with this is that the industry tries to sort of like, I don't want to say brainwash, but maybe brainwashed to an extent, that these guys are better. Like, you got to come to the Bassmaster Classic to see these guys, so they're so good. You got to go to the Red Crest because these guys are so good. It wouldn't make any difference, guys. Like I said, if you took the guys I fished with against in the Solo Pro last weekend and put them in the Bassmaster Classic, the weights will be the same. This is what a lot of people don't understand. So this is just a situation we have within the sport that is inherent to the sport of bass fishing. But anyway, guys, let me know what y'all think about it. Appreciate it. We'll talk later.